So welcome to the K Johnson G business video series. Today I'm with Matthew Palmer at Palletower. As you can see, this is K Johnson G and it is Palletower. We have the displays to prove it. Welcome Matthew to our video series. Could you just start us off with a bit of the history of the business and where it's come from?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, as a business, it's now approaching 53 years old. Mm-hmm. It was a business that was basically established around one product, which was a four-piece converter that fitted around a timber pallet. Simple as it sounds, it was revolutionary in its day, and basically for the best part of 20 years became the means of storage and distribution in the UK. It was also manufactured under license and exported into the States, Australia, South Africa, the Middle East, lots of different regions. Like every good product, it has its day. Yeah. The company realised that, and in its sort of work overseas, it was exposed to other products that it then started to stock on license alongside those. So it basically went from a transition of being a manufacturer of one particular product to being a stockist of multiple products, and that was its transition. At about the time that I joined in 1994.
And for those that don't know, the easiest way of thinking of the core product are the kgs that Joe Public sees being wheeled in and out of the back, the back storage in a supermarket.
Correct.
Product out, cardboard boxes back in.
And the original product that they developed was the forerunner to that.
Yeah.
It was basically that, but without wheels.
Yeah.
And lots of different formats and shapes.
Oh, so it was literally, of course, not just on a pallet, as you say.
Just on a pallet that's stacked.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it's that wonderful Palletower name.
Yeah. And how did you get involved in the business then? What was the...
I joined it in 1993. When I joined it. Sorry, no, 1994 it was. 1994, so 25 years this year.
Ah, right.
So
having a party?
No
watch? Did you get a watch?
Buy yourself.
Buy yourself a watch, exactly.
Maybe. I'll get too much tax on it. No, I joined it in 1994. I joined it as a graduate trainee. At that time, the business turned over about 4 million. And it was basically going through its transition. The retention unit, the pallet retainer that they'd developed, was in its death throes. There's only a handful of customers that really used it en masse, and it was becoming more stock-based, basically. So it was more stock-based and some sort of specific manufacturing that they did of certain handling products. So it was that time of transition into stock and more stock and development of stock, which is what I worked in for probably the first sort of 3-4 years. Then I moved into a sales-based role. Where I covered the northwest of England and Scotland, that for about 2 years. And then as a
good training working in Scotland.
Very good.
A dodgy bunch.
A
dodgy bunch to go with.
No, it was good. It was a good experience getting out on the road and you see face to face the problems that reps will have and all sorts of different commercial situations. But ultimately, as the business was growing, it had a lot of management problems and a lot of growth problems with it. I had the answer to put right. So I moved back into a central management role, basically.
Really?
Up until about, would that be, early 2000s. And it was at that sort of point that the business was again changing its ethos of where it bought its stock from, that it was moving to China. And then once we moved the manufacture of most of that stock to China, we then looked at the opportunities that it gave us to actually become a subcontract manufacturer again en masse, which was then the next transition of the business, where it really became one or two sort of biggest global suppliers of raw pallets. Which is what we've done really probably in the last 15 years. That's been the major development.
And was the shift to Chinese manufacture purely financial?
I think any business is always chasing, a lower cost
Yes,
base. I think it has to. If it doesn't, somebody else will do that,
That's it.
and you'll lose your footing. You know, and I suppose this you know, the net effect of that, when there were two major UK companies that supplied raw pallets to virtually every retailer in the UK. Within 2 or 3 years of the move to China, they were both gone because
really?
they didn't follow the opportunity that they had to do it. They felt that the UK manufacturing would be superior to it.
Yeah.
It may have been slightly, but the pricing was just so different
Yeah.
that it was just a, you know, it was a tide that nobody would be able to find basically.
Yeah.
And you know, we were the first people to do that, and you were at the head of the game, and
exactly.
you know, that enabled us to grow quite substantially in that period, expand our stock ranges further, develop our stock products further, but at the same time be dealing with major retail accounts to provide, you know, quite often 7-figure orders. And that's what we did.
Yeah, but despite that move, if you looked at the progression of the business in terms of size, whether that's turnover, but maybe more importantly in this respect, number of employees, how would you estimate that's moved over say, you know, the period pre-China and the period since? Because I'm guessing it's actually been a growing situation.
It's been a continual growing situation. I mean, like I say, when we started to look at the China revenue, turnover was probably 8 million, 8 or 9 million. You know, that's quite a lot from stock. You know, manufacturing is a lot of product that you're selling. So, you know, and then up to the point of the buyout 8 years ago, turnover was probably 14-ish million, something like that. So you can see the effect that the China to that point did. You know, last year it was heading towards 23 million. So, you know, the growth is pretty strong. It's pretty strong. There's profit growth alongside that. It isn't growth at the extent at the loss of profit.
Yeah, exactly.
The margins are still decent. But in terms of staff, you know, the business works quite light on staff. It works well. It's got experienced people that can absorb a lot of work, and it's created systems that can absorb that work as well. So
that's good. Yeah. And you mentioned the buyout of the business that you led or undertook. What was the backdrop to that then? Because you were already obviously round the management table, you know, very firmly at that point.
I mean, I was quite lucky in that, you know, maybe I was the rising star that rose through the business, and you know, I'd developed, you know, most of the new export markets. We'd already been traditionally quite strong in Hong Kong, a little bit in the Middle East, but we developed those markets significantly. You know, and I've been at the forefront of that. I've been at the forefront of all of the system development, everything that needed to absorb that growth. You know, the new lines of stock that we wanted to do, how we did it, how we stocked it. So, you know, I was without blowing my own trumpet, you know, the key player in that business. You know, obviously had the MD that had the financial control and, you know, the directional control of what he wanted to do with the business in his time. And I bought shares from him, about 5% of shares from him, probably 3 years before the buyout. But the buyout was literally one of those days where you come into work and
the world changes.
He has to have a chat with you, and a switch is flicked. And it's do or die, sink or swim, basically. That's it.
But it was a process. I mean, obviously not getting into too much of the detail that's confidential, any of the detail that's confidential, but it was a process that was not unusually, I would suggest, one that didn't start out as a buyout route. You know, there was a discussion about what's the owner going to do with the business and so on.
I mean, it was very much. The initial discussion was how was I going to help him sell the business, which I refused to do. And then it was like, well, how can the owner help me buy the business but achieve the value that he wanted, which was never going to work. Then you got involved. And it all went down.
It all went pear-shaped. Exactly. And you've regretted it ever since, yeah.
So, no, I mean, once we were able to break away from the vision that the MD tried to create with his advisors of how the business could be sold,
Yeah.
I think once we could break away from that and I could act independently, I think the options for both sides really became quite apparent.
Yeah.
There was only going to be one way that he could achieve the value that he wanted,
Exactly.
and for us to get the solution that we wanted as well, which was for the management buyout to take place.
I was going to use the word stressful, which is probably true, but the word I'm trying to get to is more like exhilarating and nerve-wracking time to do such a thing, though, because you just, even although you're integral, if not, leading the business day to day in many respects prior to it, after you've done the buyout, the buck stops in one place.
Even through it as well, because as a business, we talked about its growth, but it didn't. Its financial systems and its financial information hadn't changed since the late 80s. So to actually put your finger on anything in the business about what it actually truly cost or what benefit it gave to the business, you couldn't do that. And everything was based on a gut of this or a gut of that or a gut of the other, which it made the business very difficult for anybody outside it to understand. And also, once you're then trying to make sense of it, there's an awful lot of work to do. But in terms of 12, however many, 14 months, 15 months it took to complete the deal, I mean, your world changes.
Correct.
Your world changes, and it's nervous, exhilarating, scary.
That's it.
And your brain never stops processing and thinking about it. Throughout probably every single day of those.
That's it.
Of that time, and then afterwards you've got to get to grips with what you bought.
Yeah, correct. And the changes.
You couldn't do that. I certainly couldn't have done that if I hadn't been through the process that I went through.
Yeah.
Because you are finding out every last aspect. You're being challenged by so many questions and so many different lines of thinking, and you'd sit in meetings with private equity and stuff, and you think, what's he asking that question for?
That's right.
And 3 days later, your brain had finally processed. That's why you needed to know that. That's why I need to know that. So that process of sitting and talking to those people was, at the time, very, very difficult, and usually difficult to understand a lot of the time. Where it was going.
Because it's new.
Completely new.
And over those recent, relatively recent years since the buyout, as well as systems changes and therefore the major changes that have taken place in the way the business works, what have been the other big changes or major changes, if any, in the business? As regards the business and what it does.
I think on a staff-wise, what we wanted to do was employ people with talented people with a broad background. So we weren't, in the past, the business would probably look to economise on the people that it employed. Bottom line was, that would be the discussion of most board meetings. Whereas I always felt it was much better to pay talented people to join your business because of the experience that they can bring, and the knowledge and just the challenge that it brings to the business as well, because the business doesn't know everything, and you bring talented people in with good backgrounds, they're going to question it. Ask the stupid questions sometimes. No one's willing to put their hand up and ask. And also, you from my side, as having done that buyout, you start off having to control and all those parts and all those directions. So you've got this vision about where you want this department to go, or this department to go, or this function to change or happen, and you've got to manage them through. You've got to manage pretty much all of those things through. So for the first 2 or 3 years, it's exhausting. We barely went away. Your sole purpose was on that. And that was it. And then, but once you're able to to actually, release some of the people that have been in the business previously. They moved on. You can start to bring better people in.
Yeah.
You can show that vision to, and that's where we want to go. But they can take you down that route, and it can free you up to think about other things and develop other things basically, and move the business forward.
Yeah.
In the ways that you want it to move forward.
Yeah, and the sort of threats or major issues the business faces today would be what? Because you've obviously changed the business incredibly over a fairly short period of time, and it's in a fantastic position. Highest ever turnover, profitable business, good team of people, etc.
Yeah.
All great. Every business has got that. Actually, I'm still a bit worried about the other. What if any would those areas be?
I don't think there's any one great worry in the business. Obviously people talk about Brexit and various things like that. But, what do you worry about? Something you don't know anything about. Is it
almost a case of no point in worrying because nobody knows?
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think from our side, currency probably is a concern.
Yeah.
But like anybody who deals in currency, when do you buy? When do you not buy?
It's
impossible to gauge the level that you should do that from. So currency can be an issue.
Yeah.
A lot of our manufacturing is Chinese based, which there can be some quite stringent government controls on there that can close factories for certain periods of time.
There's a political risk.
So you have that, and anybody involved in long shipping supply chains, you can always have issues with that. But those are issues really outside of our control. So,
that's it. To some extent, don't worry about it.
There's an element of that.
Sorts of areas though, there's a way of managing the business and the way it operates to the extent possible, just minimise the risks that the effect of
currency. Actually, we've done that all the way through. We're a lot more stringent now on the currency that we take. We leave very little to chance.
Yeah, exactly.
So forwards are bought to cover pretty much most positions.
So your position.
And this year, the first time we've done it, we've actually taken the odd speculative forward contract just in case. So we have some that were up to the end of the year at certain rates. Well, maybe $1.5 million or something like that that's there. It's there just as a backup policy in case everything does go south. If it goes north, or we can put that into stock and various things and get rid of too many problems. So,
but it's managed. It's not. It's about boxing off the core. Yeah. And then playing is not the word, but playing on the edges. Then.
Yeah, and we made sure we work with more than just one. One subcontract manufacturing base in China. There's a very reliable setup of multiple factories there. Yeah. The majority work exclusively for us in the product ranges that we deal with. So there is an element of one goes down. Yeah. You move more here and play around. So we're quite well covered on that side.
The Chinese, just going back to that point on sort of the Chinese supply, it's something that always sounds, my experience of it, speaking to business people like yourself who operate there, is that it sounds it sounds as if it should be very easy, but in actual fact it is hellishly complicated, and you have got to know exactly what you're about and how to organise it, how to manage it, learn who to trust, who not to, or not so much to, etc., etc. And it, without exaggerating it, it can be a minefield.
It's very easy to fall down. Depending on what, like our products, which are feared to be relatively simple. Some metal with some wheels on it and a few plastic bits. Yeah. It's got to be welded in the correct way. Yeah. The steel's got to be of the right spec and the right thickness. Casters have got to be absolutely the right material. The grease has got to be the right grease. Bolts have got to be the right hardness. Yeah. You mess any one of those up and the product fails and you've got a problem in your hands. So you've got to make sure that you're managing that supply chain all the way through, but that comes with experience as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you look back to what we were doing at the start, there's some pretty scary things that came our way that we had to, rework here and do different things with to be able to make them sellable. But you learn from those mistakes and you put processes in place, and we've got people out there to do that, to stop that from happening. So you've got all those checkpoints and everything that goes through it, and it's part of your development.
Part of the learning, absolutely. But once you've got that experience, it can, as it does for you, work really well, as you said earlier. But you've got to get there.
You've got to get there, and you need people on the ground. Really.
Yeah.
I think if you're dealing with as a larger manufacturing base as we are, with a diverse amount of items and products that actually go into what you're making, I think you have to have people on the ground.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's hellishly difficult.
That's the key element.
Or you'd spend huge amounts of time over there. Or you'd spend huge amounts of time over there.
And probably not be able to do it the same, because you're dipping in, dipping out,
yeah.
even if you're there a lot.
Correct.
Yeah. And the opportunities for the business as it stands today, where are they? Is it more of the same?
Yeah, I think they're strong. I think we try and continue to expand the stock range that we do, the volumes of stock that we have. That the levels of stock that we have are second to none pretty much anywhere. I mean, we would normally carry, including our rental stock, probably sort of £5.5 million worth of stock at any one time.
Yeah.
So they are substantial, and people do call on. We will not often, but we are there for people calling off £100,000 worth of equipment that they want to pick up over the next 2 days.
Yeah, literally.
It happens
straight away.
just like that. Yeah. So we look to develop that, keep expanding it. We've taken additional premises over the last 2 or 3 years to be able to do that. Rental within the business is a substantial part of what we do.
Yeah.
But again, there comes from a lot of investment, a lot of stock, a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah.
It has to be there to enable us to do it. So I think from the UK side, that's where we are. Export, we continue to sort of go into new markets, and that stood us really well over the last few years, and that's what we continue to look at the moment.
Yeah. New export markets.
New export markets, maybe an overseas acquisition that we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah.
I think that's very much what will be on the agenda for the next year or two.
And to the extent anyone can guess these things, whatever the time scale, 5 years, whatever number of years you want to put on it, where would you like or expect the business to be? Is it just a business that's just more and bigger and more profitable, doing what you've just described, and by attacking those opportunities?
It should do that. I mean, that's what we want to do. But I think we are obviously to do the acquisition and to do the level of funding that we've put into the business takes quite a lot of cash. And it's taken a lot of borrowing. That borrowing's now pretty much done. So I think the business, there are opportunities for the business to acquire in this country as well. In some slightly different sectors to bolt on and try and create a platform businesses within the same industry, really. That really grows the group as well as the business. And I think that's really what we'd like to try and achieve.
So it's a development of a group in addition to the development of the core business at the minute.
Correct. Which again is going to take good people as well. So
absolutely.
There's a lot of change and a lot of challenges that are still got to.
Still lots of excitement and nervousness. That's good.
It is. You told me once change is good. And
actually,
it is. You've got to continually change.
Otherwise, it's boring. Is if there was one thing then that you could, you've got all the power in the world. You're not allowed to kill anyone, of course, but if you've got all the power in the world and, as regards the business and its development, something you could just change tomorrow because you're in charge overall, is there one thing that
I can change within the business?
Anywhere that affects the business? So it could be external, it could be I don't know, it could be, it could be using the topic you touched on earlier, it could be forget Brexit, it could be abolish the EU, it could be anything at all, you know, that you think would actually have a positive effect in the business that isn't going to happen as we sit here today.
Difficult question, that one.
Yeah. Normally.
Yeah, it's a difficult one because I suppose the good things that you would point out would also favour some of your competitors as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's
Exactly.
That's probably a tricky one to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the bank finding that they've overcharged us. And they owe us £1 million.
That's right. A refund from the funders.
Maybe £1 million.
That's right. That's fine. We can make that happen. It'll happen just after the videos. Correct. And outside of the business, what keeps you busy?
Golf, sort of family life, gardening.
Yeah.
Football. Enjoy watching football.
Yeah.
Enjoy watching cricket. And try and keep as active as possible, really.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think the last thing you want to do is come home and
That's it. Do nothing.
Do nothing.
Yeah. Dangerous.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Correct. And on the football side of it, you're a City supporter, Man City supporter. So you're having a good time.
Yeah.
And presumably you're expecting continued good times for at least a period of time.
Yeah, I mean,
Nothing's forever, but
we've had season tickets for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
And I've been going there with my brother and his nephews, and it's interesting. And a lot of City fans of age will say the same thing, that you look at young boys who just got no idea what you've been through. And you're kind of taking the pain for them, you know.
Yeah,
so hopefully it'll continue for a long time.
Yeah.
But you never know, do you?
No,
No.
no, a bit like business and No, that's great. Okay, Matthew, thank you very much. Appreciate that chat, and we will see how the business develops over the coming years.
Great, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.